Hi, my name is Ken Asserson. I wrote the microbiome prescription website, and today I want to discuss a post I just put up today and give a little bit of the past history of it, as well as some new features which were developed because of it. Mast cell issues, allergies are something which I know many friends are having problems with. Frequently, they may do things such as, for example, use Benadryl or one or another of the antihistamine. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it becomes a problem. Other people use a prescription drug with imicromanine, etc. Now, one of the things most of them have expressed is a simple desire not to be using prescription drugs. Benadryl does nasty things with prolonged use. Antihistamines, basically, keep using it. The general consensus or belief is that it actually will make things worse rather than better, because you are upsetting a balance and nature will just produce more histamine to compensate. So the question is, what do we have in terms of non-drugs? Think that is supplements which doesn't require prescription or anything else. So a Facebook post actually got me going on it. It was one about cinnamon, and I think it was the very first one. Here somebody had posted that, and I just said, wait a minute, let's follow that smell. Let's see where it leads. Where does that scent go? So I went and started going through PubMed studies to see what mast cell inhibitors are out there which are being studied, and I created a list. Cinnamon is the first one. In this case, there's a particular component which is the main mediator. Sometimes you may be able to get that component as a supplement or not, depends where you are in the world. But cinnamon is basically it. Make sure you're getting the real cinnamon, the good Asian cinnamon. Getting cinnamon sticks is a good prospect because it is more likely to be the real stuff, and you can always chew it and suck on it, so it sort of becomes not. Next item is resveratrol or grapeseed extract. Next one is black pepper. When I saw that, I said, wait a minute, black pepper, I know dealing with turmeric, a little bit of black pepper mixed in magnitudes to the effect of the turmeric. So my suspicion, no study to back it up, is that if you're using cinnamon ground up or as a tea or whatever, add a little bit of black pepper into it. Same with grapeseed. If you are making your own capsule, mix in a little bit of black pepper. My gut feeling is that it will enhance the impact of it. And then we get down to arginine and glutamate, which actually were studied in combination. The studies are here. You can read the studies about dosages, etc. if you want. Luteolin, which is again another one done there. Quercetin is there. Taxiflozin is there. And then probiotics. I have a list of different probiotics. So that was the first thing. Just put together so that people who are interested can go to this page, see what it is, take these things. End of story, almost. Because once I get some pieces of information, my mind starts going over how can we use this in other positive ways. And what I did was I went and discovered or knew that just about every one of those items I have in the database, the bacteria they modify. So I went and did a query saying, give me everything that these bacteria modify, and let's find out things that almost every single one of them changes. There are 7 up above. There are 7 items which are impacted the same way by all 7, and the rest of them 6 out of 7, which is good enough for me. And depending on how I slice and dice and how far I go down to 5 or 4, the number starts going up. And I see we have a whole bunch of very specific species there. So we have a candidate. We have a lovely candidate of bacteria there. So for example, Osburia, you want to decrease it. Decrease is what the impact that these modifiers in the microbiome does. So it means that basically you want to decrease your level. One and only one has an increase, which is, where is it? right there. That's the one that is an increase. And that is somewhat in agreement with studies I've seen where inflammation usually goes down as this particular genus goes up. So it's sort of a confirmation there. Okay, so that means I have the list. But wait, there's more. Just like a TV ad. Wait, there's more offer. And what's coming up next is being able to take your microbiome sample and get suggestions which are explicit just for that. So 1 second. So I went and added a new feature to the website. So I have, for this walkthrough, a person who I know has histamine and mast cell issues, has had it for several years. We have several samples. So let's see how well we do. So first thing is, where do we find this stuff? It's underneath a research feature because it is basically research. It is modeling and working from there. So we have there, we go in, and if you go down here, you'll find a very important suspect bacteria for mast cell issues. So you click here and goes through, and we see that we have a good number. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 things which should be decreased. 1 should be increased, and the 1 increase is not suppressed at all. So we have a reasonably good hit for this particular sample. And now I just realized I need to update the page. 1 second. Okay, it's fixed. What I had failed to do was put this drop down to be able to change samples on the page. So it was an easy fix. Okay, let's just take a look at the page. Percentile means compared to other people, where do you rank? Percentage is a percentage of the microbiome. Both of them are of interest. Pneumococcus here is a 99%. In other words, this person has a major overgrowth, just 19%, but it's a major overgrowth. That one is a 91, which is there. Those two adding together is over 56%. Those two, that family and that genus, is 56% of the microbiome. And they seem to be associated with histamine issues, and the person has histamine mast cell. So that's for one of them. Let's go on and look at the next sample back a year ago. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have even more. We have, let's check it, the pneumococcus was high 78, so it has actually gone up. It's up 95. Another one was 94. So we again hit a fair number of high ones. Let's go back one more year. And again, we have the usual stack of items. None of them were particularly extreme, but you have a whole bunch of them which were high. So there's basically a battle between the bacteria, but all of the bacteria being battling is, I hate to say it, histamine mast cell triggering. Let's go back down a whole year earlier. Same thing. Let's go back there, and that was 5 years ago. The mast cell for this person was just starting at this point of time. And let's go back a bit further. 1 year further, it was even less of an impact, but we did have things sitting there, slightly obscene, and looks like there's a funkiness in the data there, which does happen. I need to investigate that. Or we can go over to 5, over to 5, and we see about the same, 95 percentile, 89 percentile, 80. So just using 5, we actually have 4, all of which are very distinct high. Remember, different labs measure things differently, and this fuzz factor going through here. Let's go back 1 year for 5. And we have, again, 91% sitting here. And everything else is looking good. 1 year further back. And we have 77%. So according to 5, the numbers weren't as bad. Actually, 82 percentile here. 81, 80, 80. Yep. So I was looking at the wrong column. Be careful of that. Okay. So, and then we can actually, in this case, we could go back to ubiome for much earlier days. And you can see Oh, 95%, 98%. We have a good number which are all high and related to the facial bacterium should increase. You are at 11%, 49th percentile. And I think, I know what, minor mistake there. I'll fix that. I had a logic issue and the, all usual Fuchsiobacterium was not below 40th percentile. That's the threshold going for it. Everything up is above 60 percentile, and I had a logic problem. So doing a walkthrough, as usual, helps identify issues. So that's the basic thing. So let's go back to, okay, we have two choices. We have the Thrive or the Biome site. Let's just go through the Thrive. So we have a whole bunch of things here. Now, down at the bottom, we see a couple of things. One, oh, I know why I misplaced that. I'll fix that. But basically, we can create a hand-picked taxa from the above. So everything that is marked a decrease or increase is automatically picked. If we pick that, we click that. And we go way back to the Change in Microbiome page. And we actually, if you go back to samples, oops, nope, excuse my clumsiness. Actually, we were the right page. Okay, and hand-picked bacteria. Okay, let's go and get back to Thrive, which is what there. I'll go down to hand-picked bacteria. We have 5 of them. I can go in and list the hand-picked bacteria if I want to. Oh, I'm having problems with that. I see about trying to fix that. There we go. We have the problem. So now we can go back, and now we can actually just go and get suggestions. So everything is automated, and we have there, and you can list out whatever you want to have included in it to your heart's content. You can do everything or whatever if you want to, and get suggestions. Okay. See what I did? I forgot to check use high and low items. My bad. Something to watch out for. Now we have the 5 picked. We now have the list of things. We have, guess what? Quercetin and Reservatin is at the top, and then we get some prescription fun. We have vitamin B1 showing up. Remember, we are focused only on that handful of things, and we pick those by starting from things which are known to help mast cell activation. So we now have other things which impact the same bacteria that those stuff do. Not as strong probably, but we have a bunch of things here, and then we have other things there. And we now have the new feature, which is the model food suggestions. There's a video here which explains the logic which is being used, but it's basically something which is worthwhile taking a look at least. And what we have here is we have the suggestions. Now, you see a whole bunch of things with the same value, a whole bunch of things with the same value. If you go and click on one of these, it'll open up a new window. And if you click here, you see what is in that particular food, which has significance, and which is the basis of the selection. And we go back and we go down to a 4.4. We can go to carrot boil, which is good. There's a couple other things on the list like mollusk raw. Probably not. Boiled carrot sounds like a reasonably good healthy choice. And we see it has keratin, beta carotene, iron, and water. So those are things which our analysis flagged as potential helpers. And what we can do is just go up here and we see all the values going down. And if we go down here to a negative value, we see what it is. Green beans raw is something which probably should be avoided. Again, we click here to find out, and we have, interesting, we have one form of quercetin is in it, but the other things have an adverse impact on the microbiome shifts we're trying to do. So let's not dwell on that. The food and nutrient is part of the experimental stuff. So there, and there we have the suggestion, and what is here is definitely experimental research is working from here, which basically just walks you through and Bill's suggestion 100% focused on the bacteria identified as being mast cell significant. You have other symptoms which what's being suggested may not help, or in some cases may hurt, but if you're wanting to really concentrate on the mast cell, then this is the way to go. Remember, it's experimental. Suggestions should always be reviewed by your knowledgeable MD before starting. Again, this is all based on modeling using artificial intelligence. It's not based on clinical experience. So mileage will vary. Okay, I'll shut up at this point of time and let you to go back there. So basically, if you have a sample, go to research features and then just walk through there. Okay, have a good evening.